morning to everyone. I would like to start by saying that it's quite a big challenge to speak after someone like Dr. Durão Barroso or someone as Dr. Paulo Portas. This is the biggest challenge for me today. In speaking about challenges and opportunities, which is the theme of our panel, I would like to say that Dr. Durão Barroso, that we Africans know as the most Lusophone of the Europeans for the work he has done in the European Union, has also a great knowledge of Africa, and especially of my country, Guinea-Bissau. So I have to take very good care of what I'm going to say. And because they've said everything, I think it's better to focus my intervention in the African continent and in the relations with Europe. I would start by saying that in the recent years, the relations between Europe and Africa have played a crucial role in shaping global geopolitics and economic dynamics. The interaction between these two continents have been marked by relations of challenge and opportunities, which both of their common history and current situation. The main challenge is that to allow relations between Europe and Africa, which are related to economic inequality and underdevelopment that still plagues many African countries. Historical dependence and colonial relations, and especially exploitation of the African natural resources, have contributed to the persistence of a significant disparity between our two continents. Furthermore, issues as mass migration, as Dr. Paulo Portas spoke about, armed conflicts, and also political instabilities in some of the African regions have placed additional and pressure under the African-Euro relations. I would like to say that, as Dr. Paulo Portas mentions, immigrations need immediate regulation for the interest of both our continents. We Africans will lose thousands of lives every day of people trying to reach Europe, trying to get a better life. This cannot go on. We have to do something about it as responsible as government that we are. Another important challenge is the need of a truly equitable partnership based in mutual respect between Europe and Africa, in a true win-win relation. Because in some cases, relations continue to be, unfortunately, characterized by the paternalistic approach on the European side, which limits the ability of some African countries to develop autonomously and sustainability. Also, the lack of inclusion and effective participation of the African country in the important global decision-making is also a penalty for us. We have to remember that still we don't have a permanent member of the Security Council from Africa, and this cannot go on like this. We do need to take part of the world's decisions. Also, speaking about the former speakers, the presence of China is really increasing in Africa, and we have to stop and think about why. The fact that China has understood that Africa is a huge continent, is a huge market, made them be very flexible about the terms of this relation. And my advice, and I'm sorry to give you this advice, maybe with Europe, is to be less bureaucratic. The fact that bureaucracy makes our relation be more difficult, I think, because most of the agreements are longer and much more complicated than those with China, because they are less bureaucratic, and they understood that we need things for today, not for tomorrow. And this is one of the reasons why China has such a big presence nowadays in Africa. We do know that we don't have free lunches. We do know that everything that we get, we have to pay for. But unfortunately, the fact that we need for today makes us many times rather go to China instead of Europe, which is much closer. But I think for both of our interests, it would be easier to have a relation with Europe that's next to us, instead of having a relation with China, which is quite far from us. So it's something that we have to start thinking about, and reducing these bureaucratic methods maybe would help us. At this moment, Africa is facing major challenges resulting from our own geopolitics, but mainly due to the instability in the world. The war of Russia and Ukraine that you also spoke about, it's not our war, it's not our continent, but it has a huge impact daily in our lives. The increase of the prices in Africa has been causing many social problems because everything that we import from Europe has increased prices and we don't have the chance of paying these changes of prices. And also, once again, speaking about Dr. Durão Barroso, he said that the international system has become weaker and weaker. It's true. Unfortunately, after the pandemics and after these wars, we've realized that the international system is not able, even the United Nations, they are not being able to solve the situation of the world. So you do have to start reforming the systems in order to be able to give concrete answers. I will speak again about West Africa that I know particularly. As you may know, I was chair of the ECOWAS Ministers' Council during the presidency of Guinea-Bissau. And concretely, speaking about coup d'etat that also Dr. Paulo Porta spoke, we are living at the moment the worst moment for coup d'etats. ECOWAS was known to be the most stable and the most, as an example, I would say, of stability in Africa. But since 2020, we've been having several coup d'etats. And it's a really complicated situation because it's something that's spreading all over. And yes, we are very afraid that we will not only have these 4 countries. As you know, we have Mali, and then we had Burkina, then we had Guinea-Conakry, and recently we had Niger. All these countries are members of the ECOWAS. 4 of the 50 members of our regional organization had a coup d'etat. This is not normal. Something's not going well. And it's not only the internal situation. We have to also think who benefits of this? Who's taking benefits of this situation? Because this geopolitics has to do with this. Nowadays, as also Dr. Paulo Porta said, it's true. We have international forces. We have Wagner in our countries because there are interests of other huge countries in our region. And unfortunately, this is not helping us. So, as I was saying, the non-constitutional regime changes that have occurred in these countries, and also recently in Gabon, are a new challenge for the African democracy. Most of our democracies, as you know, are still fragile, whether due to the political instability, to the high corruption, to the high levels of poverty, and to the enormous social differences and ethical and also religion conflicts, among others, highlighted the increasing of importance of geopolitics nowadays. The great challenge the African continents continue to be to strengthen our democracies. And for this, it's essential for us to invest in the creation of solid institutions to promote civic and political participation of the population, to combat corruption, and to promote inclusive, sustainable economic development. Despite these major challenges, the relations between Europe and Africa can provide very significant opportunities. Accelerated economic growth of many African countries nowadays, together with increased trade and investment offers, are considered potentially strengthen commercial and financial ties between the 2 continents. Partnership in areas such as technology innovation, renewable energy, telecommunications, and also infrastructures can be an opportunity to boost relations between our 2 continents. Also, the cultural diversity and variety of natural resources of Africa represent opportunities for broader partnerships in areas such as education, tourism, exchange and cooperation, also in environment issues. Growing awareness of the importance of the international cooperation in tackling global changes such as climate changes, food security, and public health also opens a space for closer collaboration between us. In short, relations between our 2 continents in the current global situation are characterized by complex intersection of challenges and opportunities. We need to build a strong partnership based on mutual respect, and this requires from both our sides changes to adapt to the new reality. As also Dr. Paulo Porta said, it's very important for Europe to take in consideration the market of Africa. It's a very close market. It's a market of 1.3 billion of people, and it's a market that we prefer to work with Europe because of the relations we have, historical relation, cultural relation, but we also need this flexibility from Europe in order to be able to increase this relation. I would like to finish by saying that to build this strong partnership based on mutual respect requires a renewed commitment to equality, inclusion, and collaboration in these key areas that I spoke about. In this way, we can benefit both Africa and Europe. This will only be possible, though, through a collaborative and future-oriented approach in which challenges can be overcome and opportunity can fully be realized, which will help to strengthen and consolidate African democracies and will also ensure a close and stable market for Europe. Once again, as Dr. Paulo Porta said, the African trade market is a huge opportunity that Europe should never leave aside. We cannot change the past, but we can build a new future together. Thank you very much.